As of this afternoon, Ada has now re-strengthened into a tropical storm as expected. And the storm has rapidly intensified since then. Now winds of 60 miles per hour on the latest National Hurricane Center advisory, unfortunately. And we're seeing those winds continue to go up again, which is obviously bad news for not only Cuba, but also for Florida. As you can see on the current satellite imagery, you can see that the storm has been fairly organizing in the last couple of hours. We've seen a little bit less convection lately, so that's definitely a somewhat of a good sign. And wind shear has been impacting the storm a little bit more in those last couple of frames. So maybe some signs of not at least no weakening, but at least some not too much intensification, thankfully. So we're going to be going over everything in those latest advisory and the latest information from the system as we usually cover the entire situation as it unfolds here. So first off, chances for tropical storm winds chances for tropical storm force winds in Florida are around currently at most around 40% on the Florida coast. So that's going to be the most chance currently for tropical storm force winds. But those are going to be increasing all over the southern and central coast. Also, the chances for a Category 1 hurricane are also continuing to increase, unfortunately. Cuba also has now a 70% chance of tropical storm force winds. I see some people here saying in chat 70 to 95 mile per hour, and I totally agree. Currently, I think the ceiling is 90 mile per hour, but I expect a 75 to 80 mile per hour landfall somewhere around here. So this is my current expectations. If we look here again, this is the current visible satellite imagery. And again, as you can see, a little bit more spin to it, but we do have some very pronounced inflow here, as well as some somewhat pronounced outflow on the top. But the inflow has been getting a lot better pronounced, which is showing a lot more moisture obviously being kicked in with the storm here. Something I have been noticing, though, is the wind shear has really starting to be affecting the storm a little bit more. And the center is likely located just around here. So definitely some impacts from the wind shear affecting it somewhat at least. But the storm has overall been continuing to be fairly organized with a new blow up of convection on the center right here. So Cayman Islands are now on the dry side of the storm, and Cuba is going to be starting to get those strong winds. As always, if you have questions, start your questions with @LastNews. I'll be answering all questions, or if you have any statements to make, I will be answering all of those in the chat or all of those in the live stream, as I always do. So we're going to be doing this like every live streams. So if we now look at the current National Hurricane Center cone here, if I can find it. If we now look at the current National Hurricane Center cone, that is the wind on that cone is actually to go up at our 5 p.m. update. Unfortunately, I won't be covering it, but I'm going to be live for about maybe an hour or so. So we're doing a little bit of set coverage. So how strong do you think the winds will be in North Miami? Personally, I think you guys can experience up to 75 miles per hour, and most likely right now, based on the current track, I would say 50 to 6. I would say 60 miles per hour in Miami. So that's what I'm currently predicting right now. Because keep in mind, even if the center goes here, the strongest winds will be on the northern side, which is why even all the way up to Central Florida, we do have tropical storm watches in effect, and that is due to the possibility of an increasingly. I mean, you can see how small the wind field is, but the possibility of a very, very big wind field as it gets towards Florida. Broward County, again, on the latest track, I would say 50. I would say between 60 and 50 mile per hour. Pretty much the entire tropical storm, I would say 70 to 75, and then 60, and then really 40 to 60 mile per hour in this entire tropical storm for watch area, really, because it's a little bit hard to predict. Because even when we saw the recon, they found hurricane force winds in a band all the way down here, and then they found like barely tropical storm force winds near the center. So with how it's currently, like how the structure of the storm, you could be seeing, hurricane force winds up there, and it's tropical storm force winds down there. So that is something we're gonna have to keep a close eye on, obviously, for how the structure of the storm evolves. If we look on the U.S. rainfall, though, we are now expecting up to 10 inches in Florida, which we weren't originally expecting. Now in the previous advisories, the highest was 6 inches, and now we're looking at 10 to 15 inches possible in Miami here, or close to Miami at least, and then 6 inches for most of southern Florida. So in northwest Miami, we're looking at probably between, I would say 10 inches of rain is possible. Definitely possible. If you look here, entirety of southern Florida is looking at 10 inches of rain. So definitely a very big possibility. Definitely a big possibility. As the storms come through here, you're going to be seeing widespread areas of rain, up to central Florida is definitely a possibility. So, again, people are asking this could be a Cat 1 or 2. With where it's currently, right? It's currently located right south of Cuba, right? So, currently located around right here, right? So, on the National Hurricane Center cone right here, it has about, let's say it has about, I would say, 7 a.m. Monday. So it does have, a good 48. It does have actually more than, it has 48 hours to strengthen. So with that in mind, I would say it could be a Category 2 hurricane. A Category 2 cannot be ruled out at this point. But 80 mile per hour landfall is currently what I'm going with. But then if you look at rapidly intensifying storm like Eta, again, when it hit Nicaragua, it intensified into a Category 4 basically in one day. So rapid intensification into a Category 2 hurricane cannot be ruled out. Especially as it crosses Cuba here. I mean, we have fairly favorable conditions, and this is what I've been talking about. We could see the storm blowing up after crossing Cuba here. And this is what I've been talking about. Right now, it is struggling slightly, but we could see the storm absolutely blow up here because it's going to be under that trough, meaning it won't have wind shear, it won't have dry air. It's going to be really in a very favorable spot right here with 90 degrees, 80 degrees water. So it's going to be in a favorable spot for rapid intensification. Hello, live on Tropics, Lucas. Welcome to the stream. All right, we'll look advanced. I've tried to find it, but I have not been able to find it yet. I'm gonna guess the first one. I've tried to find it multiple times. If you could maybe put the link in the chat, that would be pretty useful. Oh, all right, let's look here. Okay, current intensity analysis. Here we go. Max winds of 53 knot, 993 millibars. So 53 knot, that would put us at 60 mile per hour. So that is exactly what the National Hurricane Center is saying. Cloud region, temp, scene. Yep, so there you go. Current analysis is 993 millibars, 60 mile per hour, and the National Hurricane Center currently has it at, just for comparison, I guess, the National Hurricane Center currently has it at 60 mile per hour, 994 millibars. So this is showing a storm slightly more intense than the National Hurricane Center, at least on this advisory right now. As always, share the stream with your friends and family for the latest information if you could be impacted by the cyclone, and share the link. Share the link to everyone, just to help the stream out as we're covering the latest information on the system. What type of damage? Northern Miami. I don't like I don't like to scare people and stuff, so I really don't like to overestimate things when we're looking at potential damages. But with the current advisory and what's currently expected, okay, I would expect right now in Northern Miami, I would expect moderate damages, meaning you're not going to be seeing what happened in Nicaragua. You're not seeing, destruction, everything destroyed, if that makes sense. I would expect moderate damages, power outages, very likely some flooding, tree snapping, maybe some leaking in your roof, things like this. Maybe a couple of trees unroofed, fallen trees, but you're not looking at your house being destructed. So definitely you might want to put shelters on, things like that, but you're not looking at that kind of situation. Atlantic Sandwich Imagery on Google. There's a link, please. No. Oh, okay. Atlantic Sandwich. Imagery. Please not El Dorado weather. Okay. Let's see here. So Atlantic Sandwich Imagery. Water goes in my window into my room when it rains. Okay, so you could be seeing some water intrusion in your room, definitely. That could happen with that system here. So you could be dealing with that potentially, of course. So I'm currently looking here. One. Sri Lanka. Oh my God. All right, so top link apparently. Let's look. Sorry, guys, for the background noise here. Just trying to get this figured out here. I was just trying to fix something. Then go to Storm Eta. Okay. Let's see here. Caribbean, Pacific. Storm Eta, South Pacific, North America. Does it say? I'm trying to find. I'm so sorry, guys. Northern Atlantic. Right. Is that it? I I think I'm on the right thing. How many power outages do you expect? Miami-Dade Broward, honestly, if you want my honest opinion, I do expect quite a bit of power outages, especially in regions where cables are not, underground. So, I mean, quite a bit of power outages. And I'm just looking right now by my window. The wind's really starting to pick up here in Central Florida, believe it or not. But I do expect quite a bit of rain or wind, power outages, but probably localized power outages in neighborhoods and things like that. But I think most of the outer, many neighborhoods in Miami-Dade and Broward will lose power. But it's kind of hard to say exactly, if that makes sense. Oh, there it goes. Storms Ada. Found it. And then, is that it? I did find the storm. No, scroll up and click on the storm and then Ada. Yep, I did that. And then RGB, I guess this is it. RGB loops. Sandwich RGB. Bam, I got it. So this is what it looks like right now, Let's look at the animated loop here. Perfect. We found it. Okay, so this is an interesting imagery here. As we look at this. So again, this is what I've been talking about. We can see pretty much what I've been talking about. The storm's actually, staying pretty organized. We do have, it looks like, a new blow-up of convection near the center here, so we're going to have to track that closely. But over there, it looks like it's getting rotation. Yeah, this is what I'm saying. It looks like it's getting a little bit more rotation going here near the center, so definitely a sign of potential some strengthening happening, or at least somewhat of occurring at the moment, which is, you can see here in that blow-up of convection. I'm looking if we have any recon on their way. It doesn't look like it. Ghost 16 satellite. Yeah, I know where to get a satellite image on there. So you can see here some other view here, some convection going on, but I do like to use this one. But all right. Again, if you have any questions, I'll be answering it. You can start with your question without asking you if you want me to see them easier, or just ask your question and then I'll answer and look at what you guys have to ask. Again, if we look at currently the current track, or the current storm surge, by the way, have gone up a little bit at least, because we're not expecting, again, some storm surge to occur as this moves in. Because as the storms move in, something like this, we'll say something like this, right? The storm's expected to do something similar to this. So as the storms move in, we are expecting some storm surge to occur, especially on the East Coast here. As you can see, 2 to 3 feet at most. Go to Ghost 16 something 2 on tropical tidbits. I don't think I have that. Goes. I can look it up here. It goes. Why is that blob of convection near the center there? Yeah, so like I've been saying, we're seeing that new kind of blow up of convection blowing up near the center, and that is really just the storm blowing up and more convection, really. It's really noticeable right here. As you can see, if we look at the zoomed in, you can see on those last couple of frames, you you can see this new blow up of convection. That will likely eventually really blow up into this big, massive blob of convection here. What's your maximum minimum for strength? So right now, my maximum, like I've been saying, is 80 to 90 mile per hour for the landfall point. And then my minimum for the landfall will be 50 mile per hour if the storm weakens as passing over Cuba. So that's currently my minimum and maximum strength. Yeah, my peak is around 80 to 90 mile per hour at landfall, although it could be stronger or weaker potentially. But, you know, that's just what we're currently looking at right now. Alrighty, so spaghetti models here, not too much changes. Spaghetti models here, not too much changes. We've had a slight shift towards the south. And then actually a little bit of a stronger turn back towards Florida, which could actually bring again some more impacts to. This could actually bring some more impacts to western Florida. So. News could it impact the Tampa Bay area that around where I live? Yeah, again, definitely. The Tampa Bay area is currently expected, to get tropical storm force winds. So that's what we're currently expecting in the Tampa Bay area here. We're expecting tropical storm force winds because once again, if I go on the National Hurricane Center track, which we'll get a new one at 5, so that will update. But the current National Hurricane Center forecast does show this getting very close to the Tampa Bay area. And on my Weather Channel app, they actually show tropical storm force winds getting pretty much the entire peninsula of Florida all the way up to here, getting tropical storm force winds. And so tropical storm force winds are expected in the Tampa Bay area. Cuba's Hurricane Island is going to slow down right after Cuba. Exactly. Yep. It's going to be going through school back fast. And this is what I'm saying. It could absolutely blow up depending on where it takes a turn. Let's say if it goes a little bit more like this, right, it would have more time to strengthen. We'll see a little bit bigger landfall. If it goes straight like this, it would have less time to strengthen. But either way, we are expecting a fairly strong system, at least a strong tropical storm, at least. So, but yeah, definitely we're going to be seeing impacts in the Tampa Bay area. If not strong winds, definitely some strong outer bands of rain. But right here, this is 45 mile per hour. This is 50 mile per hour. This is 65. Or no, this is 60 mile per hour. This is 65, 65, 60. 65, 65. So all those storms here, those are all 65. Actually, no, more than that. All here, those are all 65 mile per hour. So National Hurricane Center is saying it's not going to be strengthening any. And I know for a fact that will strengthen the next cone because they were not expecting it to get a 60 mile per hour before making landfall in Cuba. So we already know that's going to change. All right, so again, any more questions, I'll be answering them. So I'll be answering them. Any more questions about this hurricane? And again, the cone's big, right? So it could go from like this to all the way like that. So we have a fairly large cone over on day 5. And changes are to be expected with this cone. It could track further north, could track further east, could track further west. So we are expecting changes with that cone either way. So more, let's see here. I cannot post the link because I'm not the moderator. Okay, I'll make you moderator really quickly just so I can post the link and then I'll get rid of moderator if that makes sense. I'm looking here. It looks like we have. The storm doesn't look to be strengthening a whole lot right now, to be honest. But that's just my current analysis of this. The structure, like the satellite structure of the structures of the storm, does seem to be a little bit more disorganized than from the latest, from when we were seeing it this morning. But that's just what it looks like right now. That's just what it looks like to me at the moment, at least. And it looks more organized this morning as a whole. So we'll have to see when recon goes in if the storm has weakened any or strengthens any. But it does seem to be a little bit less organized as a whole right now. So that is something to think about. Okay, thank you, Live on Tropic. I'm going to be putting up right now. So we'll be going back after this short break. And we're now back with the latest information on Tropical Storm Ada after having a small pause here. So this is the latest. I have now up the latest 1 minute imagery thanks to Live on Tropics here. So really appreciate it. Really appreciate it here. And you can see here the latest convections blow up able to be seen. So that is noticeable right now. By the way, Live on Tropics, I accidentally hid you from the channel, and I'm so sorry about that. Totally an accident on my part. So, yeah. All right, once again, sir, your questions with Atlas News or just normally, and I'll be answering them. If we look here at the latest, you can see the storms, again, isn't looking the most organized right now, if you ask me. It does seem slightly less organized, but that's just what I think. Did you see that tiny negative 80 on the satellite? Yep, I'm currently seeing that new little blow up of convection that may grow into a major blow up of convection eventually. So yeah, sorry, Live on Tropics. I did not mean to do that. Alright, so yeah, you can see that new little blow up of convection, and I reckon that this could potentially be our new kind of blow up phase, if that makes sense, where we do have usually on our tropical storms this phase where they just randomly blow up in convection. If we look at that new negative 90 degrees Celsius here, popping up here, I do wonder if this could become a new blow up of convection. So I think that's definitely a possibility we're going to be watching out for as we continue. Wow. 450 views. Wow, good job, Live Tropics. That's quite a bit of views. Quite a bit of views nonetheless. So, same thing on here. You can see that little blow up of convection appearing. Will you play Hurricane Decision Simulator or Cyclone Simulator later today? We might. I think I'm gonna be left for another 20 minutes or so, maybe 30 minutes again. So I may or may not play. I might. I'll see. How what the situation is with Ada first, and what I can do to help people prepare for it. But let's look weather in Miami just to kind of see what winds they're expecting. So they're under tropical storm warnings, obviously. Right now, 25 mile per hour already, as you can see, and then 31 mile per hour. So on this, they're only expecting 40 mile per hour winds at 9 a.m. And obviously, that's not that much. So this is obviously already wrong, to be honest. But they all have a 100% chance. So yeah, peak winds forecast 50 to 50 miles winds. So this is already underestimating the storm, to be honest. So already an underestimation. So you can see that little negative 90 or negative 80 blow up continue to get bigger, which is honestly a little bit concerning here. So I am a little concerned about this new blow up starting to happen. So definitely something we're going to have to keep track of. All right, what else do we have going on? Alright, guys, so this short 30 minutes of live coverage has now, I think we're going to be ending this this short coverage here with Tropical Storm Ada for now, unless people do want me to stay, but I think we're going to be ending it in a short while here. So please type in the chat if we have any more questions before we might end it soon here. But I'm going to see. Negative 90, we do see a trail here starting to form, as well as a trail on the top starting to form. And I don't know if we have a Cuba radar maybe, because that could be helpful. But let's look at a Cuba radar, because this could really be hateful here. To look a little bit if we have some kind of eye wall forming on Ada. So we'll look if we have again, if you have any questions, just your questions with Outlasting News. Let's see here. Winds is really picking up here. All right, we'll go with this one because I think that's the closest to the storm. All right, so on this at least, not too much organization, I guess. Okay, we have a request to look at the models, so we'll look at the models here momentarily. Again, that negative 9 is continuing to blow up on those latest frames. But let's look at the forecast models. Because obviously, so GFS has a 990 millibar crossing Cuba at 989, are merging back at 9 and then making landfall in the Keys with winds of 988 millibars here. Let's change the region to the southeastern U.S. just to get a little bit more of a close-up view on this. So once again, really strong winds should really start to occur. How strong do you think? I think they're going to keep it at 60 miles per hour at the 4 p.m. advisory. Maybe 65 if they have enough information, but until another recon comes in to find that it has strengthened, I think they keep it at 60 to 65 miles per hour. And then when recon comes in, of course, we'll see how strong the storm is. So like I was saying, I do want to change it to 850 millibar wind, just because it kind of gives a better impression of how strong they expect the storm to be. But they do expect a 988 millibar landfall. Let's look at it. So that would, what kind of winds are they expecting? With winds, it looks like a 50 mile per hour, it looks like, and then kind of does a loop and kind of dissipates off the Florida coast. So that's what this model is showing. This is the GFS model, the latest run. The CMC, it's been showing a very weak storm, so we'll see if this trend continues. But the last couple of models have been showing like 1,002 millibar landfall. So if we look at the CMC model, it actually shows a stronger storm now at 993 millibar landfall. And then once again, kind of rendering off the coast and dissipating off the Florida coast. So both the CMC and the GFS are in a very good agreement with this storm, which is showing this is a good thing if they're in a good agreement. Now the GFS Para is going out with a much strong, a little bit of stronger storm. So they're already showing a 985 landfall in southern Florida, and then kind of remains a fairly strong storms, and then remakes landfall 986 millibars, and then actually remains a tropical cyclone all the way up. So this could be a very long-living storm. And then as you can see, the bad news down there, we do get some kind of system forming in the Caribbean once again on this model run. The icon has also been showing a fairly weak storm, and I wouldn't be surprised if that trend is currently continuing, but most models have really upped their possibilities of outcome. And the icon is also going with 991 millibar landfall, and most models are now doing this weird loop thing, and then actually re-strengthens quite a bit and dissipates off the coast, similar to the other two models. This weird loop thing. So far, pretty much the same thing with every single model. We'll look at the NavGem, but the NavGem here, it shows 996 millibar, and then some strengthening, and it's in the Gulf, 982 millibars. So yeah, so this is what the model's currently looking at. So really, they're really all showing the same. I'll look at the HWR for liquid here, but the normal models, I guess you could say, not the hurricane models, the global models, are only showing the same. So this is already initial aging with 1,003 millibars, and we know it's 994 millibars at this point. So they're only expecting it to be 994 in 18 hours, which at this point, we know it's wrong, but they're looking with the 985 millibar landfall, and then pretty much dissipating off the Florida coast again, or making very weak landfall off the Florida coast. If we look at the simulated IR energy, I kind of like looking at that because it kind of shows what the storms could be looking like. And again, it's showing it looking like this in 6 hours, which it's already wrong because it's looking like this right now. And then they actually really show it struggling off the Florida coast, getting really sheared, and then kind of making again that second landfall here. All right, well, if we don't have any further questions, I think we're going to be going off the air now, as we've been tracking this for a good 40 minutes here, and this was anticipated to be just a slow live stream anyways right now. We are continuing, of course, to see that new blow-up of convection really blowing up, and you can see it on satellite imagery here too. It's like a tower of thunderstorms really just going upwards, And if this trend continues, we could really be seeing a new blow up of convection, which could push this to hurricane status.